I'm Andy, and this is
Chris. I'm Chris.
And we're from Frank Taylor and Associates.
And today we're going to talk to you about top questions asked on Google, and it's on the board. And the question is about selling a dental practice.
So let's have a look. This is the top question that's asked when people search selling a dental practice on Google.
So let's see.
It
Something, please.
Who are Frank Taylor and Associates? Who'd have thought?
Well, that's an interesting one, isn't it?
Wow.
Well,
Go on, tell us.
who are Frank Taylor? Well, goes back to 1988.
Yes.
Bit of history for you. There was actually a man called Frank Taylor. Frank Taylor and his partner, Sandra Rhodes. And the honest answer is, if there hadn't been a Sandra, Frank Taylor Associates would have probably gone out of business in 1989. Because Frank was a lovely bloke, but he wasn't very good at raising an invoice, was he?
No.
So Frank Taylor Associates, been around 1988, the most well-known, the most established. In fact, we started the market for goodwill, didn't we?
It was, yeah. Before Frank Taylor and Associates, there wasn't really an open market for buying and selling dental practices. So before that business, it was pretty much done over a cup of coffee or a pint of beer and a handshake and a conversation, and that established the open market for dental practices.
Yeah, and then probably the most important thing next was we bought it. We bought it in fact, the 2nd of October 2000, which actually is a really long time ago.
22
When you
years.
think about it, I must have been about 8. Anyway, moving on. What do we reckon is number two?
Number two for selling a dental practice is, how do you price a dental practice to sell? So this is all about value. This is about goodwill. This is the thing that people will pay extraordinary amounts of money for. And effectively, the way that you price a dental practice, there's about 30 factors, so we can't go into them all today, but it's about location, it's about how you generate your fees. Are you NHS private, plan-based, is it a mixture? Are you a general dentist, are you a specialist? What are those key financials? You know, what's your profit like? What are your staff costs, your labs, your materials? That, the team, the property, the services you offer, all goes into the melting pot. From there, we will then come up with a goodwill value based on all those characteristics. So that's a very, very quick answer.
Yeah, and I think really what people just need to remember, it's a classic demand and supply.
Yes.
You know, if lots of people want to buy a dental practice in an area where there aren't many dental practices to sell, guess what? Prices are higher. Simple, demand and supply, really.
Absolutely. So here we go, number three.
Number three. Dun, 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 dun.
Selling a dental practice, the third most popular question, how do you value a dental practice? That's pretty much the same as the question before. What's interesting is that on Google, people ask very similar things in slightly different ways, but the answer is pretty much the same. So I don't think the answer.
You mean we don't just make it up?
No, of course we don't.
Nothing to do with your birthday?
You can try.
Or how many children, how many pets you've got? That actually is a proper value.
If we had all my kids, all Chris's kids and all the pets we've got, that would be quite a tidy value.
No one could ever afford those practices. Okay, there we go.
So
Number
number four is, how do I start selling a dental practice? The truth on that is before you get fed up with only running a dental practice, because so many people don't do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, what was the question again? How do I start selling a dental practice is actually decide you want to sell.
Yeah.
Because we do have people who quite like the idea of selling, but then don't really want to sell.
Well, they think they want to sell because they have a bad day.
Yeah.
They have a bad day and think, I want to sell my dental practice. But that bad day passes and then the next day it's okay again. So yeah, you need to understand why you want to sell, and then the start point really to get it valued. Because if you get it valued, you know what the outcome's going to look like, and that sets you on the journey for then getting on.
And I think we'd always say, when we ideally plan it, if you can. We know there's circumstances where you can't, but ideally, if you can plan it, which means you can drive revenue, drive profit, put processes in, you will get a better value at the end. But we are cognizant of the fact there's lots of people who just don't get an opportunity because they've either had enough or ill or whatever reason.
Yeah.
Okay, last question.
Last one.
What do you reckon, my friend?
I've just Googled selling a dental practice, and the fifth thing
it has come up with
can you own more than one dental practice in the UK? Absolutely you can. Most people don't.
No.
In reality, most people buy one practice, they're very happy working in their business, enjoying being in that practice. But there are lots of people across the country that own more than one practice.
Yeah, I think that's it. You can own as many as you can either cope with, or as many as you can finance.
Yeah.
So it's up to you, really. Do you want to have 1 or 100?
Yeah.
Or 1,000?
I think it's just interesting, the questions that people ask on Google.
It's quite impressive, isn't it? That last one, lots of very ambitious people.
Yeah.
Thinking, can I own more than one practice?
Yeah.
And then they'll talk to a principal who's owned one practice, who's tearing their hair out and say, why would you want to own one practice?
Yeah.
Anyway, there we go. End of those ones.
Lovely.